Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A and crochet and knit with us. Okay, today my special guest is Carol and she's my mom. And I'm Brenna and this is Nancy.
Hi everyone.
Well, grab your projects and let's get into it.
I have my project bag.
Okay,
Brenna and I made these project bags. Just fit our knitting supplies just perfectly. Keep the yarn in here. I keep my paper for counting my stitches. I got my pattern. And I should have a pencil in here. And I don't. You know, sometimes I use stitch counters are great.
It's so funny, dude.
But
I can't wait.
sometimes there's nothing like a pencil and a piece of paper to keep track of where you're at with your pattern. So it's not, I'm a little old school that way.
And
so here
today I'm working on another blanket pattern, and this one will be a free design that will be available on my blog, so I'll post it on, you can follow me on Instagram or in my next YouTube video I'll mention when it's out. Okay, so our first question is acrylic versus natural fibers. Personally, I like
natural or acrylic.
It's just funny when I'm not doing it alone.
Well, you're currently working with acrylic.
I like acrylic because it's a lot more washable, which is important to me with the blankets, especially when they're pet blankets and stuff or baby blankets. I love the natural fibers, but definitely the washability is nice. You can use super wash merinos and stuff, but I find with blankets it can start to get expensive, but definitely for more garment projects that are going to be close to my skin, acrylic's not going to be as breathable, so in that case I would opt for something more like the natural merino fibers, but I haven't made a garment yet, so currently my stash is mostly acrylic yarns for blanket making.
What about superwash merino for your blankets? Would you consider that?
I definitely would like to, but it definitely is more costly because blankets take so much. But it's nice. What's nice about those is you can get them from a lot of independent dyers in a lot of different shades, which is nice. But so I would say probably acrylic fibers would be my choice.
Well, right
What
now,
about you, Carol?
well, since you ask, right now I'm knitting. This will be a scarf, and I'm about halfway through. This is a Sophie Scarf, and it's Petite Knits has this pattern available, and it's so great for beginners. It's got an I-cord on the edge along the side, then you increase till you're halfway through your ball of yarn, and then you start decreasing, and it just there you go. That's about halfway done. And take a look online. Sophie Scarf. There's lots of ways to wear them. I've got a finished one here.
I think it's like the most popular.
It's probably
one of
the
most
most
popular knitting patterns.
Yeah, look, finished one. And you can wear it lots of different ways. Classic is to just wrap it around once and tie it. Ooh, cozy. And what's great about these is, yeah, it takes one ball of yarn, 50 grams, and when I get to 25 grams, you know that it's time to start decreasing. This particular yarn I picked, now when Petite Knits, she uses 100% cashmere, but that's expensive. Yes, indeed. And I found this Lana Gatto, made in Italy, and it is it's really soft. It's a 80% merino wool and 20% cashmere, so it's got just enough cashmere in it that it doesn't have any itchiness to it. And this ball of yarn was $17.95 at the yarn store in town, and knits, as I said, knits one large size Sophie Scarf. So I would always opt for natural fibers if it's a gift, and this actually happens to be something I'm gifting, and because this project doesn't take up very much yarn, basically one ball of yarn, I think it's worth splurging on really good quality yarn, and even if I might even do the cashmere route one of these days once I've mastered the pattern, which I think I will have by the next one. But I agree with Brenna in terms of like blankets and such. You want to be able to wash them for sure. So, and you don't want them to be itchy either. So I like the acrylic for the blankets too, but not necessarily for clothes.
Which that reminds me, the yarn I'm using for this nest blanket is by Loops and Thread from Michael's brand. This is the Snuggly Wuggly, but
Try saying snuggly wuggly without laughing.
I believe it's actually, well, maybe just my Michael's, but I think it might be not available anymore, but it could be. Perhaps you'll have to check that out.
Maybe online, Michael's could.
Maybe. Or like Facebook or something if you needed more colors.
Facebook.
Yes, I saw someone selling it on Facebook Marketplace once. Okay,
Hey, that's a good place to get yarn, isn't it?
definitely for people getting rid of yarn, it can be cheaper that way.
Yeah.
Okay, do you prefer knitting or crocheting, and why? Okay, I'll go first here. I definitely prefer crocheting because I don't know how to knit. I think that I love the look of knit garments, and I want to try to learn how to knit and try to make like a more wardrobe of knitted garments, but definitely it is a learning curve that I have yet to master. And also I've heard rumors that it takes longer to make knit projects, which I'm not a super fan of, but I think that if I put my mind to it, I'll learn it one day, and learning to knit definitely is on my bucket list. And I practice from time to time. I can do the basic stockinette, knit, and purl. And I tried the continental style, but now I kind of like the English style of knitting, so I'm going to see where that takes me. And I would love to start experimenting with knitted blankets, which actually we have a book to show you.
We show you. The Art of Landscape Knitting. That's it. Beginner Knitting Patterns for Unique Blankets by Anne LeBroco. Beautiful book. Beautifully put together, easy to follow. She gives you the pattern layouts here in a grid, and then you can do it in. You can do each blanket. You have the option of doing it as in squares or in strips, and she varies the pattern for each of the stripes. But it's really creative, really interesting blankets, and Bren and I both saw this and thought we're just so impressed by how beautiful they were. Here's one of my favorites, Stormy Beach. Just how evocative of nature they are. We're both really inspired by this book, so we highly recommend it, and we're going to think about our next blanket project together. I'm kind of the opposite of Brenna. I've always been a knitter, and she keeps giving me project ideas, and I keep trying to crochet, and I can't seem to master it, and I don't know why. I try, even with the big hooks and the big yarn, chunky yarn, to make I got so many crochet projects on the go. It's crazy because I get going at it, but then I think I end up gripping the hook too hard or something, and my hand gets stiff, and I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't feel natural to me, whereas I've always been a knitter, and I don't even know continental versus English. I think I'm continental knitter, am I?
Well, if you're English, you throw your yarn.
Throw it? Mm.
Yeah, like you're English, I believe. The continental, more you hold the yarn in this hand. It's similar to crocheting.
Oh, I throw it.
Yeah, the English
I
style.
throw it. Okay, I'm English style knitter. There you go. But I do want to learn how to crochet because I love the different stitches that Brenna gets fairly easily. Like that I think would be a lot more difficult with with knitting to get those kind of different stitches and little lacy look to them. And I love the idea of it. And I like some of the crochet bags and the little vests, which you seem to be seeing all over these days, seem to be resurgent in crochet hippie style vests.
Yeah, I think Petite Knit has a nice beginner sweater vest thing that I think would be a good first garment that I wanted to try, and it's in my Ravelry page, and I know that's the novice vest or something, I believe. But I think that because it's on maybe a thicker yarn too.
I do like the look of crochet with cotton better than knit with cotton. Something about the stitches. I think that's nice, and I like crochet for summer clothes. Is sort of just more fun.
Well, it's
cotton.
nice for tees and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some people even crochet bikinis and stuff, which is pretty hard. I don't know if it's good for swimming in the water, but it'll definitely look really pretty on the beach.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be knitting myself a crochet bikini.
And bags, cotton bags. Crochet is fun.
I could knit a crochet bikini for all my friends. Oh, you know who you are out there.
Okay, so the next question is natural or bold colors. Personally, I think that I like the bolder colors. Although actually, I would say honestly, I kind of have no preference. It definitely is dictated by the seasons and holidays that I'm crocheting for. A couple of my blankets, one of them I did kind of Halloween themed, and then a blanket I finished recently that was featured in my last video actually, that was more for Easter colored themes, so more pastel. I think that it really just depends. That's what the main project I make is blankets, so it can be fun to use bold colors, but definitely something more garments. If I was thinking, hey, what am I actually gonna wear on the daily, I think I would opt for more neutrals, grays, light blues. But for the blankets, I just kind of go with whatever I have in my stash. If I don't have to buy more yarn, then that's great too. It's always nice to get rid of what you have.
Yeah, I think more neutral colors are nice for clothes, but then you can experiment with fun colors for bags and blankets and baby blankets, really kind of just have a little more fun with it. Even just having little pops of color.
So you think you prefer more neutral colors, or those
Like
are
more
pretty neutral?
Yeah, these are pretty neutral, and I like I especially with but then sometimes you'll see a naturally dyed skein of yarn with bright pinks and blues in it, and there's something appealing about that too.
Yeah,
I think you can have fun.
a nice striped sweater.
I think you can have a little more fun with it. But so I guess the answer is I like both.
Yeah,
it depends on what I'm making. Yeah, I think that's what one of the fun things about knitting is that you can find things in different that could be something unique for you. You could knit a beige sweater, but then it's is that going to be that exciting? Because it's also when you're working on something for so long, you maybe want to have some color changes.
Well, yeah, that's what I find. That's why I like striped blankets, just so I don't use the same color all the time.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of these is you're not knitting the scarf for that long. And someone showed me a beautiful shawl out of speckled, was pink with beautiful speckled colors in it, and I thought that would be gorgeous. And I wouldn't, necessarily have thought that, but when I saw the picture of it, I thought that would be really lovely.
No, I think you should definitely try that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is how many whips, so how many works in progress do we like at a time? And I'll start off here. I like to have just usually one, sometimes two, so usually if I have a blanket that's almost finished, I'll start another blanket so that I don't have to, because I love to take my crochet blankets out with me and work on those, but I don't really like doing the border out and about. I like to focus on that a bit more, so I'll save that for at home. So most of the time I just have one project on the go, but then often I'll start my next project when the previous project is almost finished, and often these are blankets because that's what I've been making lately. Sometimes I'll have amigurumi toys just as an additional project because those are great gifts. I love those because they work up so fast, and it's kind of fun when you want to like practice some sewing techniques and stuff. I have a little bunny design that I just finished, and that makes a lovely gift and it's super easy weekend project, whereas stuff like the blankets and stuff is a bit harder to accomplish in a weekend. So I would say most of the time I'm just a one work in progress person, but then sometimes I'll have two. So, what about you?
I think that I have to be careful not to have too many projects on the go because I'll never finish any of them.
Yeah, that's why I try to just have one.
Sometimes I think like a lot of people that knit and crochet is you'll just see yarn that you absolutely love and have to buy it, and then you'll start something you almost might not even have anything in mind. So I have to be careful. Got a big stash of yarn and a big stash of projects I'd like to start, but I have to be careful to finish something first before starting on the next. I've learned, because otherwise I'll lose interest in what I'm working on. So I've sort of made that a little bit of a resolution for myself to not start something new until I finish. But it's also like I do want to make one of those blankets from the landscape knitting, and like Brenna says, when a blanket starts to get too big, you don't want to be bringing that outside. So I think it's always I think it's really nice to have two things on the go, and then you're knitting one thing, and then you can just put it down and pick up something else that might be different colors and just might inspire you to finish it more. So I would say two projects on the go, maximum 3.
Yeah, I found I used to work on multiple projects, but then I started just doing one, and I like that because then it's like, okay, this evening I'm going to crochet, and like when you're just working on the one project, the progress builds up so fast, so I find it much more satisfying than having multiple projects and just seeing little changes at a time. That's when I lose interest, and then I never finish projects.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my problem. I don't see enough progress.
Yeah, that's what I found. So I was like, okay, I want to actually finish this stuff, so I'm just gonna, even if I'm like, oh, I would like to work on a different project right now or start that, it's like, no, I'm gonna just force myself to work on this, because I'm always happy that when I finish the projects, when I don't abandon them and leave them as just like works in progress. I'm always glad that I took them to like the finish. So yeah, but maybe that'll change. Also with the summer, I would say if a blanket is, especially a larger one, I might not want to take it out with me the same way, but that's why when a secondary project I think is necessary, but we'll see. Okay, what's the most frustrating project step in your like knitting and crocheting projects? So for me, I'm with my blankets that I like to make, I would say definitely the most challenging step is when you do your foundation chain, and then you're working in that first row and the second row too, but the first row is the worst because I find there's just nothing to hold on. Like here now, this blanket goes much faster when I can hold on to the fabric. But in that very first row, you're trying to figure out finding your chains and just getting everything like nice. And I just find it really hard work in the first row. You can do things like the foundation single crochet chain, I believe. I tried that a few times, but I kind of prefer just the super basic method of just chaining and then chaining it into the chains. That's just what works for me. But definitely that step can be challenging. I don't love weaving in ends, but I wouldn't say that that's frustrating, more just I wish that was a step that I could skip, because I always want to be done the project, and it's so close when I'm weaving in ends. But I would say that that's a pretty common thing that a lot of people would agree with me. So I think
Yeah, I
that's just
agree
part
with you.
of the process.
Sometimes I can't even get past that.
Well, you can weave them as you go, but
No,
I
not the
don't do
weaving,
that.
the starting.
And I know some people like swatching and gauge. The gauge can definitely be confusing, and I'm still learning. And with the blankets, because I'm not super concerned about the size, I've solved that problem by just not bothering swatching often. Definitely in garments, like figuring out the gauge and then like re-swatching and stuff can be a pain, I think.
Yeah, because you're investing time in the project, but you're not actually working on the project.
Yeah, I saw this thing. It would be kind of fun if your swatches, if you try to keep them to the same size, and then one day you could seam them all together into a blanket. That could
Oh,
be
that's
kind
a
of
fun
cool.
idea.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
they have like lots of like knitted quilt style blankets or like crochet ones. It's a fun way to make
That's
it
a
feel
good
like,
idea.
okay, I'm not wasting time. I'm kind of working on this like side project, but also checking my gauge for this project. I mean, it'll be hard with like different yarns and stuff, but as long as you just accept it'll be kind of a scrappy blanket, then I think it's fun.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I would say that foundation chain, that first row of crochet is my nemesis in terms of getting going on a project. But but I'll get there with the crocheting. But I would say I've been knitting for a long time, and I still get so frustrated when I drop a stitch in knitting. I just find that like a real heartbreaker for me when I drop a stitch and to have to take out stitches and then try to fix it. It never seems to fix it exactly the way I want it to fix. So to avoid doing that, I just try not to knit too fast, and I try to keep looking at what I'm doing, watching what I'm doing, instead of, I'm not very good at watching TV when I knit because I'll definitely make a mistake. But I know, I noticed with you, Brenna, you don't seem to get, you'll, if I make a mistake in a project, if I had noticed that I made a mistake way about down here in this scarf, I let it go. I just leave it. It's a handmade object, I don't worry about it, but I've seen Brenna take out like half a blanket because she sees a mistake and doesn't seem to bother her.
Well, I find that even a small mistake, when I've done the project, if it bugs me now, it's gonna bug me when the entire thing's done, and then I've spent even more time on it, and I'd just rather, even if other people won't notice, the blanket would be kind of, I would always think about it, so I figure, I might as well just fix my work and then just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, no, you're pretty good about it, that's for sure. You don't seem to get too mad, you just carry on.
Okay, I think that was our last question, actually. So I got some crocheting done. Did you get any knitting done?
Well, 2 rows. I got distracted watching you. 2 rows, but
this is, if you can see her, hopefully she's in the screen now, but this is Nancy that has been joining us,
along with some hummingbirds.
And we'll see you again in our next video, and we'll film another crochet and Q&A. So we'll see you very soon. And bye. This is Brenna again, Carol, Nancy, and you can find us on my Instagram, Pleasant Crochet, or just here on YouTube. We'll have another video coming very soon. And I have some finished projects and new patterns to talk about that will be coming.
And if you're watching Nikki, or Sophie Scarf will be almost finished.
Yeah, this is, we actually had another question about if we knit and crochet things mostly for gifts or for ourselves. I would say that it kind of, I find that I'll make projects that I want to make, and then once they're done, then I'll often give them away, but maybe not immediately, but like keep them as gifts that I can have when I want to, rather than making specific gifts, because I find that having the timeline can kind of make it a bit stressful, or like put expectations kind of high.
If that makes really sense. Plan ahead.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to promise someone a gift and then not be done by the time that I said it would. So it's best to just kind of keep it on the down low that you're working on it, and then surprise them with the gift after this. I find that that's what I do.
Well,
What
Nikki
about
asked
you?
me to make her this, so
Yeah,
it was a request. She saw mine and liked it, and she had a blue jacket, and we said, okay, making it. But making a Sophie scarf, ideally, you could sit there and do one on a weekend easily.
You think?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you could.
Whoa. Maybe I should try that as my first
Yeah.
project.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Bye.
Happy knitting.
See ya. Okay, this is hopefully this was on.
I didn't even check if my thing was on.
It's like in your ship.
Oh, it's on.
I feel